The trains may be gone, but the terminus building remains, though the maid of industry had little to do once the railway was decommissioned in 1991. In 1997, the province of Newfoundland and Labrador turned the old railbed into a provincial park. The cleverly named Newfoundland Trailway Provincial Park is a 900-kilometer trail that winds across Newfoundland from St. John's to Port aux Basques. Another branch of the railroad, south around the Avalon Peninsula, is a hiking trail. And a scenic drive around the Irish Loop, as it's called, takes you to Bay Bulls, where you can cruise out to see Witless Bay Ecological Reserve's millions of seabirds.
Puffins aren't really designed, you see, for flying. Puffins aren't supposed to fly, technically. Their wings are too small for their bodies. Sometimes they eat so much that they can't take flight. They're skipping across the top of the water, and it's quite comical. And they try to take off, and they just go flat on their face back in the water.
Hiking the East Coast Trail leads you around the Avalon Peninsula into places like La Manche, once a fishing port, now a ghost town. In the 1960s, during the era of resettlement in Newfoundland, La Manche was deserted. A lot of what was left was washed away a few years later by a rogue wave.
This house would have been owned by a family that fished here, from the 30s on up, but no one's been living here, I'd say, since the early 60s. So it's just kind of fallen down. Every year when I come out here, it gets a little bit more dilapidated.
The building of railway lines also opened up recreational areas in Newfoundland.
People used to ride the rail to access cabin areas, access berry picking areas, hunting areas. And by maintaining and preserving the trailway as a provincial park, we're still preserving those traditional types of lifestyles.
In the fall, I usually do a little rabbit catching along the line. You can do anything here. It's easy going. The only thing you have to watch out for is loose rock in some places, where the rock is not packed down right. Otherwise, it's as good as the highway.
Some of the trains that used to take Newfoundlanders to their best berry picking spots can be seen now in Corner Brook at the Humberside Rail Museum, where Brendan Dix, a former engineer, is the curator.
We have the only steam engine that's available on the island. It's inoperative, but it's the only steam engine left alive. And we have the only working diesel-electric locomotive, which is a 1,200 horsepower General Motors diesel-electric.
The dining car is still set for lunch, and the sleeping berth looks as if someone bunked there last night. When the last train stopped here at the railroad town of Humbermouth, all the railroad employees stood beside the tracks to watch the passing of the railway in Newfoundland.
For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.